So we will go ahead and get started, and welcome for joining us this evening for our pre-fair meeting. We're going to start off with introductions. My name is Marcy Van Sand. I'm one of the county youth coordinators for Polk County 4-H. And with me tonight I have...
My name is Megan Friel. I am the other county youth coordinator for Polk County 4-H.
Joining us this summer through the fair season, we will have 2 summer interns. Beyonce Gonzalez is returning for her 3rd summer with Polk County 4-H, and then Kelly McAfee will be joining us as well. We have 2 state staff that support us here at the office. We have Paul Gibbons, who is our regional director, and Kim Keister, who is our youth program specialist.
We would like to extend some congratulations to some Polk County 4-Hers as well tonight. So joining the state council this year will be Emma Liss and Marley Van Lanningham of We Excel. And then we have Riley Campbell of Elkhart Rising Suns as an alternate. We also have Marley going to National 4-H Congress and Emma going to National 4-H Conference. We have Garrett Von Steen of the Beaver Hustlers, who was selected as an Iowa 4-H reporter. And then Izzy Jewell of We Excel received a project award in rabbits. These are all state opportunities that these youth applied for and interviewed for back in March. And they were notified late April that they received these awards. So if you know these youth, if you see them out and about, give them a congratulations because they put in a lot of hard work to get that done. And as many of you know, quickly approaching in a few days is the May 15th deadline. 4-Hers must be enrolled and active in 4-H online in order to exhibit at the Polk County Fair, and all animals, with the exception of rabbits and poultry, need to be ID'd in 4-H online by May 15th. This is a Wednesday, right? Next Wednesday. Yes, next Wednesday. So get that done. You have a week if you are someone who hasn't gotten that done yet.
And there are still lots of animals missing.
Yes. Up next is club enrollment. If you were in our in-person meeting, we had a list printed out for you. If you're a leader here tonight and you would like this information, we can email it to you. But it's a list of youth who are active, pending, or incomplete in your club, and it also listed leaders. One thing that is not right here, but is a part of that is we were given, I have one here, certificates from Raising Cane's for all active Polk County 4-Hers. So we have those in our office for club leaders. I'll get an email sent out to you this week about how we can get that arranged for you to pick up, because they do expire on July 1st, but they're good for 1 free kids meal. So every enrolled active Polk County 4-Her in your club receives 1 free kids meal from Raising Cane's for their hard work this year. And in addition to that, we have a Raising Cane's fundraiser on May 14th from 4 to 9 p.m. At all 3 Polk County Raising Cane's locations. So there's one in Altoona, there's one in Johnston, and there's one on Mill Civic Parkway in West Des Moines. From 4 to 9 p.m. on that night, they will be donating 15% of the net sales to the Polk County Council. So if you don't know what to do for dinner next Tuesday night, Raising Cane's would be a great option. Plus, we do have those certificates. So if you have kiddos with certificates for free kids meal, it'd be a great time to use those too.
I believe this one is mine. 4-Hers for 4-H. So this is an annual campaign conducted by the Iowa 4-H Foundation, as well as the State Council Finance Committee. What it does is they ask 4-H clubs to donate to the Iowa 4-H Foundation. And those funds then go to support the efforts of State 4-H Conference, financial aid for different 4-H programs and fees. And they encourage clubs to donate $4 per member. This started March 1st, runs through May 15th. Club leaders have received an email from me that has the 3 documents that you need in order to submit this. So you need the finance claim. There is a paper form of how much per youth you are contributing. And then we also need your minutes from your meeting where the club chose to vote on that. So that is 4-Hers for 4-H. If you have any questions about it, please let me know. Also, I ask that those be sent back to me here at the office. That way I can make sure to keep track of who has all contributed. So next up, we're going to talk about name and emblem usage. So this is a repeat if you've been here before, but we are at that time of year where people are starting to look at t-shirts and using the 4-H clover in the 4-H name. So we want to make sure that we are doing it correctly. So let's see if the video works again for me, Megan. Can you still see it?
Hey everyone, my name is Lexa Krause and I'm your 4-H Communications and Marketing Specialist. Did you know? The 4-H name and emblem is a federally registered mark and we, as a cooperative extension service, have the privilege of using it. When using our 4-H name and emblem, take a moment to review our quick reference guide. This guide highlights correct and incorrect ways to use our 4-H resources such as name, emblem, fonts, and approved colors for printing. It's our job to communicate the significance of the 4-H name and emblem as it is owned by our government and is protected by federal statute. You may have a 4-H member or volunteer who wants to use the clover emblem for something like a shirt or a flyer for a fundraiser. They can because they also have the privilege of using it. When they reach out to you, share the updated and improved 4-H emblem graphics. Then, stay involved in the planning process so you can provide support on proper usage as needed. When we use the 4-H name and emblem on resources or proudly wear a shirt displaying them, we quickly show our audience that we are a reliable resource for youth programming. Without saying a word, the 4-H emblem shares a trusted story. By using it properly, we respect this story. And now you know!
Go back to our PowerPoint. So like Lexa said, the name usage. So 4-H should always be written out with the 4-H. At no time should it have another indication there. It should always be a capital H. So there's some incorrect usage here, as well as the correct usage. So we ask whenever you're printing in on things that it is done correctly. All right, next up is the emblem, which is kind of the biggest one. It can only appear in 3 different colors, so green, black, and white. You will see those 3 things here, and if you notice, the H's changes color on the white one, but if you are printing them on a t-shirt, they can come through the t-shirt color. So you can just do the clover, you don't necessarily have to do the color over the H's. You can make that so that it's just the t-shirt. But then we want to make sure that we are using it correctly. So we don't ever change the color other than those 3 approved ones. We want to make sure the stem is pointing the correct way. We don't ever tilt it. Nothing really behind it like this border here. Nothing over the top of it. It shouldn't be cut off in any way and it shouldn't really be distorted. I think this one's yours, Megan, right?
Next up, we just wanted to touch base on State 4-H Conference and Animal Science Roundup. So those are happening. Registration is now open. They are June 25th through the 27th, and it is for currently 8th through 12th graders. It is $225 to register before June 1st, and there is the assistance available. And we are looking for chaperones. So if you don't know what this is, it's a couple days up on Iowa State's campus. The youth who attend will go to some various workshops. There's a dance, there's a banquet, there's some keynote speakers, some service learning. There's a lot of fun stuff that they do. Difference between that and Animal Science Roundup is Animal Science Roundup, they're kind of focused on their specific animal species, whereas State Conference is a little more general, but they're both the same days. They both eat together and do like the dance of the banquet. Their workshops are just different in their experiences, but it's a really good opportunity. And it is on June 25th through the 27th. So if you have more questions, let us know. And if you would like to chaperone, We are always looking for chaperones. I believe specifically we need at least one more female chaperone and potentially two. We are doing a couple day camps this summer, but one that we really wanted to highlight with you is our projects-based day camp. So that is on June 14th, which is a Friday, and it is held at our office in Altoona. And this is a day camp that goes through some various project areas. Youth will leave with some started projects in some different areas with the directions and the know-how on how to finish them when they get home. It is all day for youth grades 4 through 8, and it's a half day for those in kindergarten through 3rd grade. The 4th through 8th grade, they go from 9 to 4, and it is $40 with lunch included. Kindergarten through 3rd goes from $12.30 to 4, and it is $25, and snacks are included in that. We are also looking for adult or high school volunteers. We will sign silver cord hours if a high schooler is interested in volunteering with us for the day. And we are also looking for project ideas. So I think right now we have 2 ideas kind of nailed down, but we usually do about 5, I think, different projects throughout the day. So we need a few more. So if any of you have any special interests that you'd like to teach about or anything like that, or you know somebody who would be interested in that, let us know and we will get you connected. And next up, we're going to watch a slightly outdated video, but the information is all still relatively correct. There's a couple things that have changed, but it's still a good video to watch.
Did you
know
that we've revamped the 4-H County Annual Awards process?
We're here to tell you more about it today.
Let's go.
What project area did you learn the most in while you were in 4-H, and how are you applying that today?
So the project area that I learned the most in would have to be probably food and nutrition. It is a skill that I'm able to apply in many facets of my life, but I was also able to turn that into my first career before joining Extension. So I was able to help teach other youth how to cook as a family consumer science teacher.
With our goal for annual Polk County 4-H Awards being to showcase learning, all eligible 4-Hers are encouraged to apply for awards. They will then have the opportunity to interview with a judge to further explain their learning.
What do you consider to be the most valuable thing that you've learned through 4-H, and why do you feel that way?
I think the most valuable thing that I've learned by working through 4-H is that 4-H is for everyone. I grew up with the misconception that 4-H was just for people that lived on a farm with animals and that could participate in the county fair, but as I've worked here, I've really learned that 4-H doesn't have to be for just agriculture families. It can be for youth living in a city that want to learn more about arts and expression or gardening in pots. And so 4-H is really for everybody, and that's why I love it.
This year we will be celebrating 6 award categories. One of the largest award categories we will be celebrating is our project area awards. There are 11 project areas available. Youth will be able to apply for up to 2 awards and be eligible to receive 1. Our next award is the Leadership and Civic Engagement Award. Just as the 4-H pledge says, 4-Hers commit to lending their hands to larger service. The Leadership and Civic Engagement Award will recognize only one junior, intermediate, and senior level 4-Her that exhibits a high level of experience with civic engagement and leadership. Next up is the New Alumni and the Outstanding Alumni Award. 4-Hers that graduated from high school the previous program year are eligible to submit an essay about their 4-H experience. All of the essay entries will be celebrated, and one will be awarded the new Outstanding Alumni. The next 2 awards are the Peer Award and the Caring Adult Award. With these awards, we encourage 4-Hers to nominate either a peer or a caring adult who has helped them in their 4-H experience. Lastly is Record Book Awards. All 4-Hers are encouraged to complete and submit a record book to their 4-H leader. 4-H leaders will then score the record books, and those receiving 80 or above will be submitted to our office for further judging. We will be awarding 2 awards in each of the age categories. If you are participating in the 4-H Planner Pilot, you can submit that to be eligible for an award.
As a Polk County 4-H alum, you had many opportunities. Which provided you the greatest learning experience?
That's a good question. I do think that the opportunity that provided me the most learning was being a member of the Polk County Council when I was in high school. And through that, I was able to take on some leadership opportunities, meet new people. And then once I graduated 4-H, I actually became a volunteer with the Polk County Council, and that is kind of what led me to my job. So it really did help me out.
While exploring and sharing our learning is the most valuable part of Annual County Awards, we are really excited to celebrate you. All applicants and nominees will be invited to our celebratory dinner, following which we will have a ceremony to recognize all of the award winners. It is going to be full of the 3 4-HFs: fun, friends, and food.
We hope you are as excited about the changes to the Annual County Awards process as we are. We're looking forward to making it a lot of fun.
Check the description to find a link which holds more information about the awards and the applications. All applications are due October 1st.
If you have any questions, contact Madison, and we hope you join us next month for a new edition of Fun Facts with 4-H staff.
Did you?
All right, so like I said, a couple of things in that video were a little outdated. Don't contact Madison. She's no longer with Polk County 4-H. You can go ahead and contact myself if you have any questions. But for the most part, all of that information is still relevant. So this year, award applications will be due October 1st at noon. And we will have interviews on Tuesday, October 15th and Thursday, October 17th, with an awards ceremony to occur in early November. We listened to some of the feedback. If you were at the awards ceremony last year, we were a little tight in the space that we were in, which is awesome because we had so much participation, but we think we have a bigger location for us for this year because we hope that we will have more people applying for awards and attending the 2024 awards. But we will award project awards, leadership and civic engagement awards, new alumni and outstanding alumni awards, peer awards, caring adult awards. We will also recognize Record Book and Banner Club, and we will induct the 2024-2025 Polk County Council. Applications for the County Council will be due on September 4th, which is the first Wednesday in September.
All right, so now for the most exciting part is the Polk County Fair. So dates are July 13th through the 19th, and the theme this year is There's No Time Like Fair Time. That is the logo that we will be using for the fair this year. I'm gonna apologize if you hear, some of you might also be getting rain, but it sounds like it's very loud here in our office. I don't know if you can hear it or not, but just wanted to warn you on that. So first things first is our Clover Kids Livestock Workshop. So this happened in 2020 when the Fair Board couldn't offer their open class shows at the county fair. They held a workshop instead, and we have continued that since then. So youth kindergarten through 3rd grade will have an opportunity to work with horses, cattle, sheep, swine, goat, rabbit, poultry, and I believe we even had the dog project was talked about last year. This will happen on June 21st, 5 p.m. at the Prairie Rose Arena. They will provide supper. I think last year they had pizzas that they brought in. I know that they've done hot dogs in the past as well. Registration for the event is required, and the link will be in the June Clover Power. Next up is YQCA, so Youth for the Quality Care of Animals. Everyone's certification expires every year now. So this is required for cattle, swine, sheep, goats, poultry, rabbits, essentially anything that could become part of the American food system. The only option right now for certification is the online YQCA class. And it costs $12. It's payable online. If you have never taken it before, you will go to yqca.org, create an account and complete that course. Youth will have to complete 3 quizzes, and they must be passed with an 80% or above. If you fail a quiz, you will have to get locked out for a period of time, and then you can go back and take it again. There's no additional fees if you don't pass. It just takes a little bit more time. Next up is chickens. So Polarium typhoid testing, or PT testing, has been canceled for 2024 due to a antigen shortage, what we use to test the birds. So that is not an option at this time. The next is the classroom hatch chicks. So a few years ago, we started a new class at County Fair. And if you're interested in being a part of that, we do have some chicks that will be here tomorrow afternoon that we'll pick up from the schools, and they'll be ready to go to new homes. So I think we have 13 chicks, and I believe they're silkies and cochins. So contact me ASAP if you're looking at needing some chickens. Next up is dog obedience. Once again, we're partnering with Anna Childs with Edelhorst Kennels and to offer dog obedience. It's not required to do this training. It's just merely an option. There will be a new location. It's located down in Swan, Iowa, which is near Runnels, if you're not familiar with that area. It'll be Wednesday evenings, 5:30 to 6:45. Class dates are listed there. Cost will be $185 plus the $20 prong collar if you don't already have it. Deadline to sign up for this class is June 1st. Information was sent out to people who had participated in the past, as well as in Clover Power last month.
Besides May 15th quickly approaching, July 1st will be here before we know it, which is when our county fair and state fair entries will be due. No different than any other year, except for this year it's not on a weekend. So that's exciting. At least Marcy and I will be in the office on July 1st until at least 5 p.m. if you need help. And then there will be the option for late registrants as well for up to 2 days. And then fair books. So fair books are available online only. The changes will be highlighted in yellow. For the state fair, it is on the Extension 4-H website. For the Polk County Fair, it's on the polkcountyfairoiowa.com website. We do have printed copies of the fair book in our office. They are available for $1, just to help offset the cost of printing, because there are 80 pages long. So it's quite a bit of printing that goes into that. So we do have some printed at the front desk. If you want one, you can stop in and ask Wendy, and she will be happy to get you one.
So next up are some of the changes in the fair book. Like Megan said, they're highlighted in yellow, but we just like to draw some attention to them. So under the general rules, exhibitors in 4-H divisions are not eligible to exhibit in a similar division of FFA or vice versa. Please communicate with Extension or FFA staff for exceptions and clarifications. Polk County follows the state fair rules. So this isn't new. It's just that we highlighted it there just to make sure people know it. Next up is cattle. The word legible was added to the description of the tattoo as one of the forms of identification. And breed classes will require forehead to be a purebred class. Otherwise, they'll be put into an AOB class. Next up is meat goats. So all market animals needed to be must be weighed and verified at the Polk County Fair by the goat superintendents. And some clarifying words were added to some of the rules, so just so that they made a little bit more sense. Next up is horses. There was quite a few changes to the horse department, or just clarifications, I guess, maybe. Check-in and measurements will be held at 4 p.m. Saturday in the warm-up arena. A required exhibitor meeting will happen Saturday evening after check-in. Ranch horse will use the AQHA ranch riding patterns. There were some changes made to the high point, so if you're showing horses, make sure you understand those. There's no pony specific riding classes, so any ponies will take and exhibit in those age classes of the exhibitor versus the type of animal that they have. And then for open class, so the kindergarten or the 4 years old through 3rd grade, a mandatory open class exhibitor meeting will be held prior to the show as well. For sheep, health certificates, all animal birth dates must be listed on those certificates. All breeding animals must have a birth date at the time of entry on May 15th. If a birth date is not given at the time of entry, the exhibitor will not be allowed to show it in the class where it should be. So essentially it would not be eligible for the champion drive. No exceptions will be made. In the cat department, cage decor and the oldest cat award will be selected from the 4-H and FFA classes. Open class will be judged by itself for cage decor. Pet department, all animals will be health checked at the time of check-in by the fair veterinarian. That will cost $1 per family. Any animal found in poor health or vicious will not be allowed to show and will have to leave the grounds. Poultry, they added a master showmanship class this year, as well as the bantam breeds are broken down more so that there will be fewer animals in those classes to give those youth more opportunities. The bantam breeds have become much more popular over the past couple years. So we just wanted to give those youth more of a chance to recognize their hard work with their animals. Rabbits, there are a couple new recognized breeds and color varieties. So those are listed. In the static department, child development, the description changed slightly. What goes into the project, nothing changed. Just the description changed just a little bit. Thrifty meal challenge, a few requirements have changed in that. So make sure you read those if you are participating in that project area. Photography idea and educational display. The size of the display is listed, so you can't have bigger than a certain size display. And that is now listed there. For communication poster topics, the 4-H is and Join 4-H have been the two consistent ones. And then this year is I Heart 4-H, which is the 2023 National 4-H theme, 4-H week theme, I guess I should say. Explore the Jungle of Opportunities in 4-H. It's a variation of the Iowa 4-H Youth Conference theme, and 4-H Fever, which is a variation of the Iowa State Fair theme this year. If you're participating in digital storytelling, your finished film, video, or movie needs to be uploaded to YouTube.
I think it just started raining here and I got notification that my internet was slowing down. So hopefully I stay on with y'all. But next up is open class. For open class, if you didn't know, there is an open class at the Polk County Fair for static exhibits. It's open to youth and adults. It is $4 per entry and there is no pre-entry required. You just bring your project and your $4 in on Saturday, July 13th between 9 and 12 and drop them off. They are then judged and will be on display until 4 p.m. on Thursday, and then they will need to be picked up by 5 p.m. There are 5 divisions. There's horticulture, photography, fine arts, textiles, and foods. And then each of those divisions is broken down a little bit more too, and are in youth and adults. So youth will not be competing against adults in this, but if you have any sort of crafts that you like to do, if you like to do woodworking, if you like to take pictures, if you like to bake cookies or anything like that, you can bring that in and you can have that judged and displayed in the exhibit building. It's also fun if you have a couple friends and you want to compete against them. Makes for some friendly competition and is always a good time. We've seen quite a few more entries in our open class over the last few years, so we hope that trend continues. As far as fair entries go, so we will be doing electronic entries again through polkcountyfairiowa.fairentry.com. That will open on May 20th. It just gives us a couple days from May 15th to make sure everything is good to go. 4-H and Clover kids must log in with their 4-H online information, and new FFA exhibitors will need to create a login. If youth are showing 4-H and FFA, they will log in each way and they'll have 2 separate entries. And then help sheets are available on the homepage of the website as well. Entries can be paid via check, cash, or credit card online. We can't accept credit card payments in our office for fair entries, only online. Cash and check payments must be received at our office by July 1 at 5 p.m. If you're trying to drop that off over the weekend or after hours before July 1st, there is a drop box on the west side of our office by the staff door. It is a secure box too, so you can drop that in there. Just make sure you label what it's for so that whoever checks the drop box knows where it needs to go. Late entries can then also be made up to 2 days after July 1, but they must be done in person at the extension office, and we cannot accept credit card payments. There is a $50 late fee per day, up to 2 days after. The fee for fair entries this year, so it will be $1 for any building exhibit and $2 for any livestock exhibit. So we're able to keep the price low again this year for everybody. And for shooting sports, so shooting sports fair entry will open on May 1st and close on May 30th. And the competition is actually on June 2nd. So less than a month until that. You'll check in at 4 p.m. There'll be range safety at 4:15 p.m. and then the shoot will begin at 4:30 p.m. Next up is entry tags. So entry tags will be printed by us here at the extension office and then organized and mailed out by the interns after July 1. And we ask that you please try to use as detailed of a description as possible when you register your exhibits in fair entry. So instead of just saying that it's a picture of a rose, you put that it's a black matted 8x10 photo of a purple rose with a yellow building in the background. This helps us if a project gets lost, makes it easier for us to be able to identify it. If something gets separated, we can get the stuff back to where it needs to be. You can make changes to your description. We can reprint tags for you. I think last year we had some families that got entry tags in the mail like the week after county fair. So if something happens, if your tags get lost in the mail, don't worry. We'll have an area at check-in to get those tags reprinted and on your projects. Fair shirts will again be sponsored by DZ this year. They can be picked up only at the county fair and at booth setup on judging day and then at livestock check-ins. It is first come, first serve on sizes because we do have to order those before everyone is in fair entry. But so if you want to make sure that you get the correct size, try to get them picked up as early as possible at booth setup. They will be gray shirts again this year, but the old white ones are still allowed to be worn in the show ring. And then we're going to go over some exhibit building judging day information. So for 4-Hers, you'll check in at the information desk and it'll be organized alphabetically by last name. You will then receive your entry form and you'll double check that you have your entry tags. You'll then go to the different judging areas. There'll be maps for you and signs to help find them and check in with the superintendents, go through the judging process, and then double check and make sure the judge indicates a ribbon color on the entry form because that is how we ensure you get your premiums. You also need to make sure that that form is turned in at the checkout table because if you don't do that, there is no way for us to know and therefore you will not get premiums. So do make sure that those forms get turned in. Club leaders help us make sure all your kids get their forms turned in. Inevitably, every year, someone asks where their premium check is, and we don't have record of them having exhibited at the fair, so we can't award them premiums. Clover Kids is a very similar process. They just have one judging area though. So they also check in at the information desk and receive their entry form. And then they'll go to the Clover Kids judging area and check in with the superintendents, and they'll sit through their judging experience. And then they will also need to turn in their form. For Clover Kids, they have two classes that they can exhibit in. They can do the Clover Kids exhibit and the bucket of flowers. The Clover Kids exhibit, I always describe it as a box, and they can put whatever they want in that box that they want judged. If they want to put 12 different crafts that they made, if they want to make cookies, anything they want can be in the box. But it's just one exhibit that's getting judged. So they only receive one ribbon, but they can put as many projects as they want inside their box to show the judge. The bucket of live flowers is any sort of plant or flower that kiddo either grows or purchases, that is then exhibited. And then they do receive $1 from the Master Gardeners for exhibiting a bucket of flowers. So those are the two projects that Clover Kids can bring into the fair. And then we have a few special events like usual, the first being the clothing event. So judging for the clothing event is going to be on July 6th, which is pretty quick after July 1, but with the fair being so early this year, we didn't really have any other options for a weekend to do the clothing event. But you will be able to participate in the $20 challenge, fashion review, clothing selection, and innovative design. And then we will also have the communication event. So we changed the communication event. If you've participated in the past, it's historically been on the Tuesday of the new schedule, but we moved it to Monday. We're going to try it out, see if that goes well. If not, we can move it back to Tuesday. But that will be the working exhibits, educational presentations, extemp, and then the posters. And then we'll have an awards ceremony following that, and Share the Fun will be its own separate event on July 16th, which is Tuesday night. So a little change. We're going to see how it goes and see if it works out better in the schedule.
I need to unmute. So next up is exhibit release. So for the building exhibits, release will be from 4 to 5 p.m. on Thursday. Leaders, we ask for your help to make sure that the club booths are taken down, as well as help us ensure that club or youth exhibits are picked up. We only have limited room in our vehicles to haul stuff back to the office in our storage unit. So we ask that if possible, either the leader takes and meets up with the kid to get them a project, versus them being hauled back here to the office. Then the livestock are released at 5 p.m. on Thursday, unless it's posted differently for open class. So those, we do the building exhibits, which can hang out in a hot car for a little bit, and then we do the animals, which we don't want that to happen to. So it is staggered that way on purpose. Next up is Clover Kids and Youth Open Class. So what the difference is Clover Kids are project areas, or different activities that are just open to our enrolled Clover Kids that are kindergarten through 3rd grade. Youth Open Class are open, essentially livestock shows for any Polk County resident who is 4 years old through 3rd grade. So the different opportunities for them at the county fair, I'll kind of highlight which ones are Clover Kids and which ones are Youth Open Class as I go through them. So on Friday, booth setup would be for our Clover Kid members. On Saturday, our Clover Kids will do building judging. The cat show is a Youth Open Class cat show. Clover Dash 5K is essentially open to anybody. So anyone, Polk County and beyond, can participate in that. The barbecue is also open to the public. The pedal and tractor pull, this one, I believe the age range is probably 4 years old through like 12, I think is the ages. But that one is open to anybody. Clover Kids graduation, these are our 3rd graders who are done with their Clover Kids age, who will be fourth graders next year. So they're graduating from Clover Kids to 4-H. Next up is the Poultry Show. Poultry Show is a youth open class show that youth 4 years old through 3rd grade can participate in. Decorate a Bale is open to anybody as well who would like to participate in it. Megan will describe that one a little bit later here. Next up is the Sheep Show. This is a youth open class show. Educational presentation and working exhibits are open to our enrolled Clover Kids. The Pet Show is a youth open class, as well as the goat costume and the horse show. So those bottom 3 are open to anyone 4 years old through 3rd grade. Pancake breakfast is open to everybody. Come eat pancakes. Like I said, Megan will cover that one a little bit more here later as well. And then there's the rabbit and cabbie, the swine show, and the meat goat show, all of which are those youth open class shows. On Wednesday, we have 2 youth open class again, the dairy goat show, as well as the bucket bottle calf. Some of those open class livestock shows have specific times that they will start. Others will say that they're before or following the regular 4-H livestock show. And last but not least, on Thursday, project release and booth takeout down would be for our Clover Kid exhibitors. Next up is club duties. So all 4-H clubs have been assigned a duty to complete during the county fair. If your club cannot complete what is scheduled for them, it is your responsibility to find a replacement. If clubs need to switch, please communicate that with me, so I am able to make that change on my master schedule. If I can get this file to where I need it to be, I will take and upload that into the chat box. I will also be emailing this out after this meeting, so hopefully this next week we will take and get this emailed out. So I'm gonna stop my share here quick, and I'm going to switch it to sharing the club duties. So you should be able to see the club duties listed there. I can see if I can zoom in just a little bit. So we have barn watch, horse barn watch, as my computer makes noises. So barn watch, horse barn watch, followed by exhibit building hosts. So some clubs might have building setup, tear down, the different shifts within there, building cleanup, helping with the barbecue, all of those duties. And then pick up trash in the livestock barn is listed there as well. But like I said, if you didn't get a chance to download this as I'm sharing it, I will be sending it out to all the club leaders next week. So we're gonna switch from that one back to the PowerPoint. We'll see how many screens I can share in one day. All right, so you should now be seeing our PowerPoint again. And that's about fair booths. So set up for booth judging, or set up for booths, I guess I should say, not even judging, will be July 12th, 4 to 7 p.m. Booths will be judged July 13th at noon. So we'll ask our judges that are judging the different departments to look those over for us. And they're going to be judged on the use of the fair theme, creativity, neatness, and originality is what they look for there. I guess maybe if I can go back to my right thing, I do have one more thing that goes along with this, and I'll drop this in the chat box as well here in a second. But this is a layout of the 4-H building and where your club's booth will be located.
Are you trying to share the map of the booths?
Yeah, and I just realized I didn't actually share the right screen. Did I? Thank you, Megan. Let's see if I can get the right thing here this time. All right, let's try this again. There we go. Is that better? It says it's loading. There we go. Now you should have a view of the different club layouts there. So while I have that open, I'm going to see if I can drop that document in the chat box as well for you all. So you have access to that. But when I send out the club duties, I will also take and share this one out as well. And it's not letting me drop it while it's open. So I will take and do that here in just a second when I close it. I'm going to close all my tabs. I'm going to stop my share as I freeze my computer. Yep, really did. Megan, do you want to continue?
Yeah, so while Marcy tries to get the PowerPoint back up, the next thing that we were going to talk about is just county council events at the Polk County Fair. So the first event that the county council sponsors at the county fair is the booth decorating contest, like Marcy mentioned. They help cover the prize for that, the first, second, and third place for the booths. And then they have the Anything Goes contest on Saturday night. It is a $1 entry per club, not per person. And there is prizes awarded for first through third place. You must be an enrolled member of a Polk County 4-H or FFA chapter to participate. We do not allow Clover kids or non-4-Hers to participate in this event, just for insurance purposes. If you're not familiar with Anything Goes, it's a lot like a barnyard Olympics type thing where clubs compete against each other in various different games that the county council members decide and put together. And then, as mentioned earlier, there is the Decorate a Bale contest. There is no theme with the Decorate a Bale contest, so you can decorate the bale however you would like. But it must be in the barn by Monday morning at 9:30 a.m. for judging to start at 10. There is a $1 entry for this as well. And then first through third prize place is awarded prizes and ribbons. And it'll need an exhibit tag, but we can have those for you that morning as well. There must be one member of the club present to talk with the judge during this time. But it also doesn't have to be a club. It could be a couple of kids. It could be one person who wants to do a bale. It could be a trio. It could be kids from different clubs who want to get together and decorate a bale. There are not a lot of rules. Essentially, you just have to have the bale in the barn by 9:30 and pay $1. But after that, there is the teen dance, which is on Monday night from 7 to 10 p.m. That is in the FFA exhibits building this year again, and that is for youth who are 13 years old through their senior year of high school. This is a free event thanks to the fair board. They donate some money so that the county council kids can put this on. There are snacks. Last year we also had some yard games and whatnot if you didn't want to dance. And it's very much once you're in, and when you're out type of event, unless you arrange with us prior to leaving that you need to come back. And you have to have a good reason for leaving and coming back. Then there is the pancake breakfast, which is on Tuesday morning. It is a free will donation with a suggested donation of $3 per person. One of the cheapest meals you'll find. I don't think that price has changed in 20 years. And you receive pancakes, sausage, and there'll be milk, orange juice, and coffee. And that is the county council's probably their biggest fundraiser every year. So that is how they get the money to help sponsor the rest of these events that happen during the county fair and throughout the year. Then they will also have movie night, which is on Wednesday night. That is for any youth who is 13 years old through 12th grade. And thanks to a donation from the American Legion, it is also a free event. This year, the movie is Daddy Daycare. So that'll be showing on Wednesday night. There will be popcorn and other snacks as well for anyone who is there. They will also have two fundraisers going on throughout the fair, one being the Kiss the Pig fundraiser. I don't know that they have finalized who the 4 people will be yet for this year. But once that is finalized, you will get that information. And essentially those 4 people will have jars around the fair, and anyone is welcome to throw some money in the jars. Whoever has the most money at the end of the fair will kiss a pig between Bacon Buddies and before Supreme Showman. And then they will also have their silent auction baskets again this year. So all of this is very much led by those 30 county council youth. Marcy and I try to be as hands-off as possible and let them experience that leadership. So if you attend these events, if you see those kids working hard, make sure you tell them that they're doing a good job, because they put a lot of work into making sure that all of these events happen during the county fair. And also kind of a part of the county council, but also a little different, is the Clover Dash 5K. That will be on July 14th, which is Sunday morning, and will start at 8:30 a.m. We are, as usual, looking for people who want to run, volunteer, or sponsor, and registration is live. It's runsignup.com and then Clover-5K. We will invite any youth who are participating in the communication event by doing a working exhibit to come practice again this year. So I know there are some youth who have taken advantage of this and really gotten some good feedback and made some changes to their working exhibits before judging day, and have gotten good remarks from the judges on judging day for that. Funding, the money raised through the 5K has gone on to give college scholarships, as well as club and youth grants, and things like that. I think we've had a couple clubs apply for, one made a meal for the Ronald McDonald House, one made tie blankets to donate to Children's Cancer Connection. Another club purchased items for blessing boxes in their community. So that, and then we also awarded 3 $1,000 college scholarships at the fair last year. So that is what a lot of the money that is raised through the 5K goes back to. And this is our 10th year. So we're looking at having some extra fun stuff going on to celebrate the 10-year milestone there. And then I think the last thing that I'm talking about tonight is fair forms. So fair forms are available online at polkcountyfairoiowa.com. There you will find King and Queen and Prince and Princess applications, which are due May 15th. You'll also find the clothing event report form, which you will need for that July 6th judge. There is also a sample copyright letter, photography labels, livestock affidavits, as well as links to inappropriate food exhibits. Fun fact, if you're making anything, if you're baking anything, there is one approved frosting recipe that is allowed to be used. So when in doubt, do not frost something. They would rather you not frost an item than use a recipe that is not an approved recipe. There is also helpful information on preparing vegetables and flowers for exhibit, and then links to project help sheets and tip sheets as well. So all of that is on polkcountyfairoiowa.com underneath the forms tab if you need them.
Helps if I unmute again. All right, so next up is thank yous and the action. So the Polk County Fair Board and the Polk County volunteers spend a lot of time and energy to find sponsors and rewards for the 4-Hers that they receive during the county fair. So trophies, prizes, money. We encourage your club members to write thank yous to those who supported the Polk County Fair. Auction buyers. We encourage the 4-Hers who exhibit livestock to personally thank the buyer on the day of the auction, as well as send them a thank you after the fair, because the person who might actually be spending the money may not be the person who actually did the bidding that day at the fair. One fun fact, if you didn't know, that in the 4-H building, we call the appreciation station. And it's essentially a box with a list of people who have contributed to the fair, and blank thank yous for people to write and fill out. And if it's someone on our list of people, we will take an email or mail those out to them free of cost to you. It just needs to be filled out, drop back in that box, and we will take and send those for you. Next up is the auction. In recent years, the Polk County Livestock Auction has seen a decrease in the number of buyers. We need the 4-Hers to help line up these buyers. We encourage 4-Hers to talk to businesses and companies that they work with, and encourage them to come and purchase those animals at the fair. Great ideas to start with. So we send out invitations to previous buyers and that kind of thing. But we encourage people to do the same. So co-op, feed store, vet, parent, businesses, a bank, someone you do business with. And if you want our invite or our flyer that we include with our things that we send out, we are more than happy to get those for you as well. Next up is premiums. So when fair is all said and done, this is one great thing about fair entry is that it will calculate the premiums for us. So how are they calculated? So for livestock, it's based on the ribbon counts that the superintendent tracks during the show. So premiums are awarded to blues, reds, and white ribbons. Last year, I believe it was $8 for a blue, $5 for a red, and $3 for a white. And those vary each year based upon what the fair board decides post fair. But they have been very generous these past few years with those amounts. Remember, your cost to enter is only $1 or $2. And as long as you're, I mean, even with a white ribbon, you're still getting money back. Building exhibits. So how those are determined is that form that Megan talked about that you pick up and take to the judges. When that is turned back in at the checkout table, our interns or Megan and I will take and enter those into the system, and it then has a calculation of who received what ribbon color. Checks will be written out to each youth and either given to the leader following their leader one-on-one or mailed to the youth. So that is dependent on quite a few things. We try not to mail them out to the youth just because there are so many of them that we have, and that fee would add up quite a bit. So we prefer to do giving them to the leaders to distribute. Checks must be cashed within 90 days and they will not be reissued. And I think I finally reached the end. So we appreciate you joining us. And this, I haven't seen any questions pop up while Megan and I have been talking. But I will take and stop our recording. And if anyone has any questions that they would like to ask, we can do so at that time.